Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the first episode of Shark Bite Biz Live. For those of you who don't know, I'm David Strausser. I am the host of the Small Business Podcast. And, for this show, we really kind of cover three main topics. We look at personal growth, we look at professional growth, and we look at business growth. And, all three of those are just so important right now as, we have this pandemic going on, and it really backed a lot of people into the corner and forcing them to change the way that they think about business, what they do for business, and all that good stuff. So, excuse me. So, that's why I started the podcast, because I wasn't able to go out, do live events like I could before. So I started the podcast Shark Bite Biz, and, it was kind of done out of necessity. I couldn't do any type of event. So we got a couple people here already, which I am super excited for. I did this on short notice. This is my first time on Hotline. They were nice enough, allowed me to have a room here, and first time using it. So I just did one short notice to be able to get out here, test this out, have fun. And, I want to bring some people on stage and kind of test and see exactly how this all works. So let's see, who wants to come up here? Someone put in a question. But what are your thoughts on Hotline? Oh, great question. My thoughts on Hotline so far is it's pretty easy. It's pretty cool. There is one feature that I've noticed already, which I would love to have, which is kind of like sharing a screen. So that way, while I'm filling up dead air, I can kind of talk about some of these news articles, business headlines that we saw. Like I got a couple up here today to kind of talk about. But besides that, I mean, it's really easy to use, very simple. I like the very clean layout. Wonder what your thoughts are on it. Let's see. Let's bring on Neil. Oh, hold on. There we go. I think that's done. I am going to... Neil is actually somebody that works with my day job, Vision 33. And let's see, is he there? No, I don't know. This is the one part that is a little confusing. We're trying to bring somebody in here. Pause queue. Okay. Oh, well, I revoked you, Neil. Skip the next guest. Okay. Sorry, just trying to learn this a while. So anyways, while we're kind of waiting for Neil to join, there we go. He's gone. Let's talk about some of these business headlines that I saw out there. One of them that came out today, and this is through Engadget, I thought was really cool, is that the Thursday night football streaming deal that Amazon has with the NFL actually will start a year early, which to me is good, I think, in a way, because now you can watch it on Prime Video, the Thursday night football games, which I guess it's giving a lot more ease of access. I think the NFL has been extremely slow with adopting new technologies and different shows, like watching. I mean, come on, do you really want to have to subscribe to DirecTV's Sunday ticket package in order to watch these NFL games? I mean, they should have that stuff readily, easily streaming. And I think the Prime Video doing it on Thursday night is going to definitely be a step in the right direction. My question, though, as I kind of look at this headline, is I thought Twitter also had Thursday night football, And I got to admit, there was nothing easier to me than going into the Twitter app, I believe. And it's like, bam, game's right there at the top. You just tap on it and then you get it on full screen. So I would like to see if that deal's affected, not affected, if it's still in place. Is it only going to be Amazon? And the other thing is, too, is that I think it was through Fox Sports last year, you could get, I don't remember if it was all the games or select games, but you could actually watch some games in 4K that were done on Thursday Night Football. Me being the big Eagles fan, I don't know if you could see St. Nick right there on my back wall. The Eagles had, I forget who they're playing, but the Philadelphia Eagles had the first ever 4K football game. It was on a Thursday night. So I think it's time to get, 4K's been around for what, like 10 years? And it's still not standard operating procedure for football or just regular TV. I mean, bandwidth is almost no longer an issue right now. There's no reason at all why they should not be doing that on full blast, football games in 4K. So I don't know. I guess we'll kind of see what we have there. Got a question here from, I'm bad with the pronunciation, Shay, what do you think is the cause for finally breaking from BTC? For Ethereum finally breaking from BTC in terms of market trend. So that is a good question. Ethereum is odd. It's one of those coins that I think, wasn't it like $150 like a year and a half ago, something like that? And then all of a sudden, it just started going up and up and up. I don't know what it's at today, but when I last checked it, I think I saw it around $2,500. I'm trying to look at it right here on my Robinhood widget. Ethereum. I don't know. I've got to, oh my God. Wow. $3,200 right there. That is insane. That is crazy. So I don't know, honestly, what has happened that it kind of broke off from each other. Because you were talking about how Ethereum and Bitcoin used to, one goes up, the other one goes up, and then goes down, right? So I don't know why, but I think something weird's happening in crypto. And when I say weird, I think it's a good thing. I think maybe we might be at the level of mass acceptance. And the reason I say that is because we're in a digital first world right now, and that's kind of brought on because of the pandemic. Okay, everybody's used to doing everything digitally first, and you add that with the technology that has made it so easy, whether it's Robinhood, whether it's Binance, all these other apps. So that way the average person can use Bitcoin, can use Ethereum, can use Dogecoin. You use all those different technologies just with an app on your phone. You don't have to sign up for a wallet. You don't have to do the complex, oh my God, I forgot my wallet password. You could if you want, but average person doesn't have to do that. They're just buying, selling. Yeah, I guess you could say they really don't own it because it's not in their wallet. It's still in the marketplace. Average person, they don't really care about that or think about that as much, and maybe they should, but they don't. And because of the ease of getting the technology, it's really, I think it's driving its mass acceptance. I think what crosses my mind when you're talking about Bitcoin versus Ethereum and that breaking is one thing, and that's that Bitcoin's hella expensive and Ethereum is much cheaper. And I think you probably have a lot of people buying Ethereum right now thinking like, oh, it's 1,500, it's 2,000, it's 2,500, and that it's going to be the next Bitcoin to where it goes up 25, 35, 50,000, $100,000. I think you probably have a lot of people that are doing that. They're making their hedges, their bets on that's going to shoot up as high as Bitcoin is. So what do you think about that? You think that's a pretty close analysis? You got a thumbs up? What about Dogecoin? Anybody out there got Dogecoin? I am a huge Dogecoin believer, and like really big on that with the crypto train. And I am looking at it. What is it right now? I have not checked it. 42 cents. That is insane. I was never really into Dogecoin. I'll admit, 2 years ago or right after it started being sold on Robinhood, I'm like, what the hell? You know, I spent $25 and I got 12,500 Dogecoins for $25. And then when this all started to spike, I think it was only like at a penny, maybe 2 pennies. And I'm like, oh my God, this $25 turned into like $1,100. And then I kind of went all in and I bought $6,000 worth of Dogecoin, which really, it got me in trouble with my wife because for like it went down. At one point, I was like negative $4,000 of how much I lost on the value. Obviously, it went all the way back up. I still own Dogecoin, but I don't own as much as I did. I did launch a coffee business, so we've needed some of that extra cash. But yeah, I wish, I'm like, if I would have just kept it for, another week, I talking like $20, $30, $40,000 differences. And it's one of my biggest regrets because you always hear in the crypto world, you only lose if you sell, that's the only way to lose money on it. And it's true. I mean, technically I didn't lose money on it, but I kind of did because I sold off what I needed to sell too early. Now I still got a good amount of money with what I kept, but still, it's just a total bummer. What other questions you got out there? You guys got to have something. Somebody want to come on stage and chat? Who wants to come up and chat? What do you all think? What do you all think about Hotline? Y'all like it? You like it much? Yeah, thumbs up. I'm going to give myself a thumbs up. Does that work? Yeah, it does. You like the emojis? That's awesome. That is awesome. So another tech business story that came out that I think is pretty good is, hold on, I want to retweet this real quick. Who wants to? Talking about business tech. Dogecoin. Okay, let's see. There we go. Just shot this out. I'd love to talk more about Dogecoin. What do you think? Why? I've given a lot of thought about this. And I think the reason why Dogecoin has gone off is because it stands for nothing. I mean, if you look at the other cryptos, they all kind of have some value that they work for. You do something or they're part of something. I don't know. I think it's just kind of taken off because of the fact that it doesn't do anything. So maybe there's no special interest, whatever. I don't know. I mean, that's the only rationale that I can put behind it. I mean, obviously you have Elon Musk, Mark Cuban, screaming for it, but still, I don't know. I mean, that's an excellent question. So Mr. Neil Ferguson, Neil, I wanted to get you up here on stage with me, man. You've got to join me. So, David, how do you think this format compares to podcasting? So that's a good question. I think live streaming is the future. I think interactive content, whether it's my podcast, whether it's another podcast, another show, I definitely think that is the future. I mean, if you look right now, alternative media, no matter what it is, Shark Bite Biz, other shows, whatever, they're kind of taking off because everything is like hyper focused to a niche of people. Okay. I mean, you can find whatever show you want on YouTube, on some podcast channel, whether it's Spotify or iTunes or whatever. You can find that super hyper focused stuff. So I think doing something like a Hotline on Clubhouse or whatever it is, I mean, I really do think that is going to ultimately be, the future. I think there will always be stagnant content, but I think, having a show like this and then it being recorded and being video on demand so that people that missed it can watch it, I think that's what the future is going to be. The interactive content that's catering more towards them. So I really think that's what we're going to be looking like. I think it's going to be fun. I've been wanting to do live shows. One of the reasons that I haven't done it is I was just like, ain't nobody going to show up for this. And, here I am. I did it with like a 40-minute warning, and we already had a handful of people show up. So now I can't wait until we do the next one where I actually promote it for a couple of days. But it's also like, well, what do you fill it up with? I only wanted to purposely do a small show like this, short notice, just so that I can kind of get my feel for the technology. And honestly, like I'm saying, Hotline is very straightforward, very easy to use. So I love it. I love bleeding edge tech just as much as I love things like crypto. So it's kind of fun to be on this platform. So what other questions y'all got? Some of the challenges that a live format has. Exactly that. I just had to pause for a second to think of the answer. When you're doing a recorded video, it's like, oh, I already have this all thought out. To where when you're doing it live, there's no retakes for the most part. You have to have your answer and have it now. Now, I come from the sales background, so I think that kind of puts me in a better situation for this, because when we're doing a live demonstration, when I'm working myself through a deal, I mean, you have to think fast, especially because I do ERP with SAP Business One, Sage Intacct, and they're very complicated questions. So it's very easy to get cornered, and you have to be able to think fast, keep the conversation going. And I really think that's what helps me a little bit here. I've got to be honest. I actually hate being in front of the camera. I did not like doing my first podcast. None of that. I never wanted to do it. Again, it's something that I ended up having to do out of necessity. It's something I had to just get in front of a camera, do it, force myself to be comfortable, because as business people, this is the future. I mean, you get into younger entrepreneurs, younger business people like us, and, they're looking for validated experts on different topics to be able to validate, to tell them things, to keep them informed. And this is, I think, one of the formats of how that stuff is going to be coming. I mean, the world's changing. It's back to the digital first world. And yeah, it's good stuff. So what other questions do you all have out there? I see Michael. Michael's joined us. Michael has joined us. So let's see. Michael, you got a question? You want to come on the show? John and Eric, where are you guys from? So let's see. I can give some hearts. There you go. I just gave some hearts. Do you see a convergence of NFTs and podcast? Wow. That is a loaded question. So I understand what NFTs are. However, I don't know if I fully bought in on them. Now, it's a great thing that you brought up, though, Eric, because y'all remember that picture of Disaster Girl, the little girl with the smile on her face while the house is burning down across the street? She just sold that picture as an NFT for $500,000. That is insane. And just so the people on Hotline know, this is exactly where having that share feature, so I could share my screen, show that picture would be awesome. But, you know, NFTs are weird. I own an NFT actually, but not like you would think. The NFTs I own are Strausser.crypto, Pass Me Your Crypto, and Strausser.eth. So I've got those payment wallets that I own for the money, which are technically an NFT. From what I understand, at least they show up as NFTs in my wallets and stuff. And that is pretty cool. I think something like that has value. And what's cool that I noticed is that as part of my Strausser.crypto, you can actually build a crypto domain with that. So I just have a very basic thing down, and I have an actual website that sits there. I guess it's on the blockchain, right? And it just sits there, and it's pretty cool. But that being said, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't get how an image, okay? Take the Disaster Girl, okay? She's selling a digital copy of that on the blockchain, okay? And all it is that sits there is an actual address to the image itself, okay? So what happens if that server company goes down or whatever? You know, it's kind of weird, and that's where maybe it's for lack of understanding, but I don't fully buy into NFTs as far as all this artwork and stuff like that being sold. I don't buy into that right now. Okay. Now there's other uses for NFTs, like I brought up with my crypto wallets, or maybe it's your e-portfolios or whatever you want to do for that uncentralized, decentralized web, stuff like that, where I really do think that it has value. But as far as those virtual assets, I mean, really, it's like, what's stopping me from making a copy of one and just reselling it to somebody for $10? I mean, yeah, I guess they have bragging rights that they have the real one, but still, I mean, what's stopping from someone else doing it? That's where I don't know about it. Now, how does that go with podcasts? I don't know. I mean, maybe with a lot of podcasters out there, myself included, we struggle with the monetization of podcasts. You know, it's something to where it is, you know, I get money from ad revenue with somebody like YouTube. The audio version of it, though, relatively doesn't have much revenue coming in at all. And that's where I think maybe you could have NFTs and podcasts crossover, because, you know, as a form of monetization, selling NFTs of different logos, designs. Now, I know that might sound hypocritical because I just said I don't fully believe in it, But just like the crypto market, you can't ignore facts. A lot of people are like, oh, well, crypto is just imaginary. And it's like, hey, dude, imaginary or not, that imaginary Bitcoin's worth $55,000. And it's the same thing that I think here with the NFTs. Whether you believe in the NFTs or not, you cannot deny that they exist and that they're having value. Okay. So that's where I kind of fall with that. And if they do stick around, maybe it is a way that can help jumpstart, monetize a lot more podcasters, because I do think we're in the golden age of podcast, vodcast, all that good stuff. So let's see. What other questions? Anybody want to jump up on stage? What's your ideal way to monetize podcasts? I don't know. I mean, my podcast, I just love it if I would never have to do an ad myself, and I just get the ad revenue from a service like, YouTube, and that's enough. But that being said, especially I think it's hard because with a podcast, that's going to be a little bit decentralized. Okay. So instead of just one location, you have it across a lot of different medias, platforms. And I think some of the difficulty is like, okay, well, they have to buy the ad off me directly because they're not going to buy it through these different services, stuff like that. And then you have all your listens broken down by all these different platforms, compared to YouTube, where it's just kind of like one location. So I think easiest for me would easily be having YouTube just pay, everything that we need to produce the show, those associated costs, stuff like that. And that might happen one day, but we're only at about 5,000-6,000 subscribers on YouTube. It's our ad revenue is $80 to $100 a month right now, which is good because that does cover a lot. Most of the base costs that we have, the non-negotiable base costs to run the podcast, like our Adobe that we have to get each month for the software, Vegas Pro we use, the podcast site hosting itself, storage, things like that. That's the thing. You can create podcast for low cost. I think doing audio podcasts are a lot easier in a way. Storage. Now that we're doing the show in 1440p, we are running out of storage like you would not believe. I have almost 2 terabytes worth of data on, what is it? Google Drive, another 900 on OneDrive, and I have to keep buying these 1 and 2 terabyte plans all over the place because we're just running out of storage. I mean, these files, they get so big, and now we're going to have to try to figure out, like, do we just end up deleting some of this stuff that we don't need? I'm just I'm a digital hoarder. I like to try to save as much as I can. Just because you never know if you want to rework something in the future, whatever it may be. Michael, are you live? Have you figured out Hotline? Let's see if I can pull him in here if nobody wants to join. Well, we're waiting to see if we can get Michael in here, up here with me on stage. I've been looking at some of this other news, and one of these interesting stories that stuck out to me, that's a newer one, just came out, I think, an hour or two ago, which was Sony's to integrate Discord chat into PlayStation. And I only skimmed over the story, but I think that's huge. Having a centralized type of program like a Discord that you're able to use right there through PlayStation. I'm not the biggest PlayStation fan, I'll admit. It's not. But what drives me nuts about whether it's games or whatever it is, I hate having all these different platforms everywhere. I just like it simple. Like everything just connects to everything. That's where I really think that we need to, yeah, you can make your own platform, your own service, whatever it be. But I really wish that there was some kind of like an international standard for like standardization to where everything just kind of integrates together and communicates with each other, so that way one thing works with the next thing. So anyways, what other questions we got out there? I think I'm going to be wrapping up probably in about 5 more minutes. This has been fun though. How often have you all been using Hotline? Is this your first time? Or yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's not bad. This is, like I was saying, it's really, really easy. The only key feature I wish that they had, and maybe they do have it, I just can't see it, is to be able to share a lot easier, share a lot of these screens. Looks like my wife Raquel has just joined. Hi, Raquel. And then we have Vera's Dev. Hello. And while we're talking about technology like Hotline, I also did think that it was interesting that Clubhouse just started testing their Android app. So we'll kind of see how that plays. But again, we're talking about the different technology, stuff like that. I really think that it's going to be video first. I think that's really where we're going to be heading into. I don't think that we're going to, I don't think audio first is going to, whether it's a podcast or it's, a live chat, I think the audio will probably be more like a fad. I think for some people will be, and the reason why I say that is because during this pandemic, again, we went through a digital transformation, digital first world. And during that, think back, when you did a video chat, how many times have you, before the pandemic, if you had a video chat, how many times did you have your camera on when you were talking to somebody? Probably not very often. Okay. Or maybe you were the one that always had their camera on, but nobody else did in the chat. Now you get into the pandemic, it almost feels weird if you join a chat and someone has their camera off. Like, I wonder what they're doing. You know what I mean? And I think that feeling is probably going to cross over to, services like podcasting or Hotline, to where you're going to get more into that video first world. I mean, that's why when I started doing Shark Bite Biz in July of last year, a couple friends of mine were like, hey, yeah, just do the audio. And I'm like, no, I'm doing the video as well too, because I think we're going to be shifting to the video first world. So that's why I did the YouTube vodcast as well as an audio podcast. We're definitely trending that way. Why do I think audio is a fad? Good question, Mark. And I think that is, I think it's just because, I don't know. I think to a degree, what crosses my head, now this could be totally wrong, okay? But what crosses my brain is, there's a lot of misinformation, stuff like that. And a lot of people say things, or, that they probably wouldn't if they had to be held accountable. To be able to talk in front of a microphone with a camera on, you lose that, the anonymity, stuff like that. And I think that's another reason why we're going to end up pushing more towards video too. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but that's one of the things that crosses my brain, my head. And I think that doing that with the video first, plus, I mean, if I'm saying something, okay, and you're able, even if I can't see you all, okay, you can see me. You can see my facial expressions. You can see if I'm actually passionate about it or if I'm just, rolling my eyes like I'm bored as all hell. And I think that's another thing to where the video will dominate over the audios, because you're going to be able to see, are the people actually being genuine? Are they authentic? Stuff like that. So, I mean, kind of a open, question there. And I could be totally wrong, but we just had a guest on my podcast. I think the episode came out last week, if I'm not mistaken. It was with Darren of Bomb. That's BOMB. And that was a really good company. It really blew my mind, because what they do is they do video for emails. So if you're trying to reach out to a customer, instead of typing up an email, you're just recording a 20, 30-second video and sending it to them, and it sends them a little preview in the email. And we had a pretty detailed discussion about why video is better than text. Now, we weren't talking about why video is better than audio. That wasn't the conversation. But as far as why video was better than text, and it really came down to the authenticity and building the relationship with people, because you can do that a lot better with the video present than not. And I think that's kind of where people are going to drift towards. Again, just my prediction. I could be totally wrong. I got time, I think, for one last final question. And then I'm going to call this this live broadcast my first broadcast ever on Hotline. I'm going to call it a wrap. Who wants to be that last question in there? Come on, Michael or Neil. I know you all got a question. There we go. When am I doing another? Great question. Now that I've tested this out, I don't know. What did you guys think? Did you like it? Was it fun? Was it good? Okay. There we go. I think I'm going to start. Here, I'll ask the audience. Should I do a, once a week, like every Tuesday at 6 or 7 p.m.? What do you think? I think that's what we'll do. Next topic. Good question. Wow, Michael finally typed something in. I think he just figured out how to. Good job, Michael. So I'm going to give him I'll give Neil one there too. I think what we're going to do topic-wise, it's going to be open. I mean, I'm always going to have a couple articles open like I did today. We talked about Thursday Night Football, NFL, Sony with Discord. I brought up about the Clubhouse with the Android client. So I'm always going to have talking points to be able to talk to fill up space while I'm waiting for questions and stuff like that. But I think we can probably start doing it once a week and start making a regular schedule of Shark Bite Biz Live. And, we'll test it out for the next month or two, and let's see how it does on this new platform. But, because I got this awesome Stream Deck, and it's right here. And I use it when I do live streaming, playing the guitar or doing some gaming on my fun channel. But I would love to be able to use my Stream Deck with Hotline. You probably can. I just don't realize. Oh, actually, maybe if I use the virtual camera in Streamlabs OBS, maybe that would work, and I'm able to put everything through that, I think. But that's something I want to give it some more thought to, because that would be pretty cool if I'm able to kind of get the, my intro on, my outro, some of the segment scenes, and we could have a lot of fun with this. But hey, anyways, I am going to be heading out. Thank each and every one of you all for coming on here. This has been great. Again, David Strausser. The show is Shark Bite Biz. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on any podcast platform. Check it out. If anybody wants to be a guest on the show, okay, make sure you shoot me a message, interviews@sharkbitebiz.com. That's interviews at sharkbitebiz.com. And please don't forget to check out my coffee company, Dead House Coffee. Thank you. See you all. Good night.